All right, that's it. I can hear you now. Lily, say something.
Hi, hello.
I
Can
can
you
hear
hear
you now,
me?
Lily. Yes, I can. Lily, do you like dogs?
Yes, I like dogs.
Good. Our dog's something every time the postman delivers letters. Meows, barks, moos, or neighs.
Barks.
Good. What sort of animal meows?
Meow is a cat's voice.
Good. Moo?
Moo is cows.
Good. And neigh?
Um, I don't know.
Donkey or a
Oh,
horse?
donkey. Oh, okay.
Now, you have to choose one of these sounds and make it in Mandarin.
A mandarin.
Yep, so
Mm,
you choose, you
um,
can bark, meow, moo, or neigh.
um, bark.
Go on.
Wang wang.
Wong wong. We say woof woof in
Wang.
English.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Have you got any pets?
Thank you. No?
All right, Lily. If you had the choice, what sort of pet would you choose?
Hmm. I would choose a dog.
Because?
Because uh, I can take it out to have a walk.
Okay, keep yourself fit. All right, thank you, Lily.
Thank you.
All right, Tiffany. Have you had a nice
Hello?
week?
Yeah, I had a nice week.
Good. Sarah was something the person sitting next to her. We couldn't hear exactly what she was saying, but it sounded like she was complaining about something. Giggling, shrieking, bellowing, muttering, which would you choose?
I would choose Mandarin too.
Good. That's interesting. We don't use the word mutter very much. Um, but anyway, it's muttering. What is muttering?
Like murmur.
Yes, sort of in quiet voice. Can you put one word in there beginning with G that would work? It's where you're talking about somebody else to somebody else.
Like gossip.
Yeah, that's right, gossiping. What's gossiping?
Talking about someone made a comment on her.
Mm. Do you gossip?
Well, I
Little
think
bit.
people do gossip.
Mm. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Tim.
Hello.
Tim, have you survived the 2 typhoons in the last 3 weeks?
Yeah, I'm surprised.
Were they bad? How serious were they?
It's hard. It's horrible.
Hmm. Was it all over Taiwan or just Taipei or the south?
Um, the the south.
Hmm. And of course, Kaohsiung is in the south, isn't it?
Oh, mm, maybe the whole Taiwan.
Hmm. We've had in Australia we've had major flooding in South Australia, which is the worst in 50 years. So do you think all this is due to global, I'm just writing this out, global warming? What's your opinion?
Maybe it's just a common weather in Taiwan. I don't think it's because global warming.
Okay, do you think the climate is changing in the world?
Yeah.
Interesting. Some people don't believe it in Australia. Anyway, back to geese. What's a geese? What's the singular of geese?
I don't know.
Can anybody help?
Goose.
Yeah, that's right, goose.
Oh.
And in English we say, he's a goose. That means he's stupid. So if somebody calls you a goose, it means you're an idiot. It's a nice way of saying it, but still. Are you a goose?
Maybe not.
Good. Right, the geese, something angrily when we walked past them. It was quite frightening. You may not know this because it's a very specific word, but which one would you choose? Cooed, hooted, honked, or quacked?
Quacked.
No. What's a quack? What animal quacks?
Duck.
A duck, correct. All right, so cooed, hooted, or honked?
Crude.
No, cooed is a pigeon. So two left, 50-50.
Hoot.
Nope, that's something else. Does anybody know what animal hoots?
I don't know.
Anybody? It's an owl.
Oh.
You know owl? Yeah. So owls hoot,
Yeah.
pigeons coo, ducks quack, and geese honk. Now you have to choose one of those and do it. So which one would you like to do? In Mandarin.
Quacked.
All right, off you go.
Go on.
Interesting again, because in English we say quack, quack, quack. All right, thank you. Lucy.
Hi.
This is not a very good
Hello.
example, this, Lucy. Though there is one word that would fit in there. John something his answer nervously when she asked him to say what he honestly thought. Can you guess which one it is?
I'll choose A.
Good, you're correct. What does stammer mean?
Um, hmm, you can talk very smoothly.
That's right, you cannot talk very smoothly. So it's John. You tend to keep we also call a stammer a stutter. So if you have a stutter, you stammer when you talk. What does roar mean?
Mm, speak very.
That's right, speak very loudly. Now, which of these others also means the same as roar?
Yeah.
That's right. Which is greater? Which is stronger, yell or roar? Which is the stronger word?
I think it's raw.
You're correct, it is. And a particular animal roars. What is the animal?
Lion.
That's right, lions roar, correct. What do you call a female lion?
I don't know.
It's a lioness. So a lioness is a female lion. And what do you call baby lions?
Cubs.
That's right, cubs, lion cubs.
Ooh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Wei Chen.
Hello.
Hello, Wei Chen. What colour is your t-shirt? What colour is your t-shirt?
And green.
Green?
Yeah.
It doesn't look green on my camera. It looks like sort of a very light blue. That's interesting. And all right, I can hear a something noise, but I can't see the bee that must be making it. Hissing, bleating, buzzing, or roaring.
I think it's buzzing.
Good, that's right. Bees and insects buzz. Now, we've already talked about roaring of lions. So we've got buzzing of bees, or buzzing of insects, roaring of lions. What sort of animals hiss?
I think it's snake.
Correct, snake. And bleat?
Bleed? Let me think. I have no idea.
It probably won't help you, but in English we go ba.
But
That's bleating. Ba.
sheep. Sheep.
It's a sheep, that's right. Sheep.
Ah.
We talk about sheep bleating. It's an unusual word. What's the plural of sheep?
Uh,
Plural?
so, sheep.
That's right, they're both the same. It's a singular and a plural word. Right, choose one of these and make the noise.
When you make an buzzing.
Yes? Go on then, buzz.
Oh, buzz.
Pretend you're a bee.
Buzz. Mm.
Well, it's not very good, but it'll do.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Nicholas, you try it.
I would say bzzz.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm any better than Wei Chen. Howard, last one. Look at me when I'm talking you, something John suddenly. Murmur, snap, mumbled or stuttered.
Sorry, I can hear you. Sorry.
All right, which one would you put in here? Look at me when I'm talking to you. Something,
Snap.
John, suddenly. That's right, we say snapped. Snap means you're a little bit rude. It's sort of, look at me, and that's snapping at you. Now, choose one of these and do the sound. So you can murmur, you can snap, you can mumble or stutter. You need to do one of them. So read this sentence, this bit, and use one of those types of ways of saying. Are you stuttering?
Yeah, I'm stuttering.
Taking a long time to start. All right, you can't stutter. You have to choose one of the others. I'll give you full marks for stuttering. What else?
I said
All right,
snap.
all right, go on then. Snap at me.
Um, Snap means the act of catching an object with
I
the
know what it means.
mouth.
I want you to snap at me saying this. So read it out and snap at me. You've got to be rude.
Sorry. Look at me when I'm talking to you.
That's not too bad.
Something like this.
All right, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Right, Michael.
Yes.
Was this your first experience of a typhoon?
Yeah. Of course. I've
What did
never
you
been
think of it?
to Taiwan before. Huh? I think it was quite interesting, but we had to be closed in the dorm, so we couldn't go outside. So
Were you forbidden to go outside, or was that your choice of not going outside?
it was strongly recommended to not to go outside. So
Yeah,
I obeyed.
yeah. Strongly recommended means don't. That's right, that's the use of English. So strongly means if you go outside, you'll pay the consequences or take the consequences. And what's your work before this typhoon? What was your
What?
experience of your worst weather event? Actually, I'm not. What was the worst experience of weather before this?
Uh, in Czech Republic, we've got blizzards. It means that it's snowing very strongly.
Okay,
So
yeah, certainly
sometimes
don't
it's
have snow
quite
in Taiwan.
dangerous. Yeah,
Which is more dangerous, a
definitely.
blizzard or a typhoon?
Definitely typhoon. I just see
Interesting.
what's happening outside, and I was persuaded that typhoon is much dangerous.
Okay, thank you, Howard. Sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. That's the one. Vaclav, what about you? How was your experience of
Uh,
this weather event?
Hello. For me, it's about the same as Michael because we come from the same country. So
All right.
for me, the worst experience was just some big thunderstorm, and this was much worse because I saw some videos of people getting harmed on the streets, and also the weather was really strong. So I don't recommend to go outside, and I stayed with Michael in the
No.
dorm. So.
Okay. Thank you. Tuba, was this your first experience of a typhoon?
Yes, of course, the same with the others. This is the first experience. I just saw the rain, wind, maybe snow in my country, but not typhoon, absolutely. And
Mm.
I saw
Can
also minus 40 degrees in my country, but this is the so different from the cold or hot. I don't know, so scary.
yeah, minus 40 is
Yes,
very
I
low. They
saw
never
this.
have. Can you
You are
ski?
lucky. I'm sorry?
Can you ski?
Yes, I can.
Are you very good?
And no, not very good.
So you're better than Michael and Vaclav?
No.
Interesting. All right, thank you.
Thank you too.
Right, now we're going to talk about credit card and bankruptcies today. Where did I get up to, Howard? Phoebe, you'll get the first question. Phoebe, what's a bankruptcy?
You don't have money.
Who doesn't have money?
People who,
Yeah. And what's a credit card?
yeah. Something that you can use to pay when you buy something.
Right. And what are credit card bankruptcies then? What does that mean?
Mm, uh, you use credit card to pay, but you can't
That's right.
you
You can't
can't
pay off the debt on the
yeah.
card. And what's a banking scandal?
I don't know.
Do you know what scandal means? No?
Yeah. Not good news.
All right. Give me an example of a scandal that's happened recently in Taiwan. It can be anything. Explain it very quickly. You tell me a scandal in Taiwan. It can be gossip, or it can be a firm, or it can be something about Vaclav, whatever you want.
Actually, I did not watch the news
Really?
recently,
That,
so
do you
I
think
don't
that's
know
scandalous
any.
that you don't watch the news?
Yeah,
That's
recently.
shocking. All right, thank you, Phoebe. A banking scandal means something not very good. It's scandalous means something shocking, and it's saying that credit card bankruptcies are due to bad banking practices. Anyway, so that's the headline. Now, credit cards are rapidly becoming one of the most common causes of personal bankruptcy, and there are indications that major banks have been granting inappropriate credit limits, possibly breaching means breaking, possibly breaching or breaking responsible lending laws. Phoebe, hello. Oh, sorry. Phoebe, I meant to go to
Yeah,
Lin
yeah,
Yi.
yeah.
Lin
Huh?
Yi, hello.
Hi. Hi.
Lin Li, what's personal bankruptcy?
Um, Individual bankruptcy. Just
Yeah, that means you're bankrupt.
something that happened.
Now, yeah, what what does this? All right. So what's a major cause of personal bankruptcy?
Pardon?
What
Mm,
is the a particular
you
cause or most of personal bankruptcy? Give me an example.
You use credit card too much, but you can't pay. You cannot pay for it.
Exactly. So you've got if you owe $10,000 on a credit card, then you can't pay it. You have to go bankrupt. Whenever I use dollars, I'm always talking about Australian or US. I know $10,000 in Taiwan is not very much.
Okay.
And there were indications the major banks are granting inappropriate credit limits. What's that? So what does that mean, granting inappropriate credit limits?
Like if you only get 10,000 for a month, but bank offer you like 20,000, and so I
Yes.
think that was inappropriate credit limit.
Do banks do that in Taiwan? Do banks offer inappropriate credit limits to students in Taiwan?
I don't know. I don't use credit card.
That's a very good idea, not having any credit cards. Who pays for all your bills, your parents or you?
As far my parents.
That's good. Have you got a job yet?
Nicholas,
Yeah.
can we poll how many of them have credit cards?
Okay. All right. The poll you'll see the poll in a minute. This will be a new thing. You'll have two choices, 1 or 2. 1 means yes, you have a credit card. 2 means no, you don't have any no credit card. These polls are anonymous, so the rest of the class cannot see who is answering. So anything you answer is private. No, I won't let anybody else see it. So just put 1 or 2. Just indicate whether you have a credit card or not. As I said, they are private, so nobody will know the answer. I can, okay. Come on, Greg, you should tell us as well. All right, now I'll put the results up in a minute, just the, excuse me, the overall results. It takes a few seconds for this system to work on this, and it'll be interesting. It is actually quite interesting. Pearl, that's one of the things you should tell Professor Chin or Yen about, that it's very slow to do poll results.
Okay. I bet, yeah. But it wasn't like this last semester, right?
No. Can you see that all right?
Yes.
All right.
Can you?
So, yes, I can. So, yes, no. Lin Yi, since you're there, describe those poll results. So put in English, tell me what they tell me, or tell me what they mean.
You mean describe this part?
Yeah, describe the results. So, yeah.
In this class,
32%. Yeah, go on.
32% students use credit cards, and other
the remaining,
and almost half. Many students don't use credit cards.
Yeah. So I would say 32% of the class have credit cards. I would assume they use them, and 56% of the students don't. So the majority of the students do not have credit cards, which is a good thing, because that means you can go bankrupt later and not when you're a student.
Nicholas, another question for those 8 students. Can we poll and ask who paid for the credit card? Their parents or themselves?
All right, so if you're one of these students that have a credit card, the question is, who pays? So 1, it's you. 2, it's your parents. Parent or parents, whichever. So that's another poll for the 8 students. And again, it's private, so I will not put your names up or ask you any questions, don't worry. I can tell you that it's not just our exchange students that you know, it's equal. You know, some students have cards, some students don't. All right, I'll just wait for that result now. Sorry if you can hear that buzzing. Somebody trying to ring me. Interesting. So these are results of this time. So 8% of the students pay and 24% of the parents pay, which is interesting. 8 out, so, and that's only because 8 people answered. The others have not got credit cards. So 3/4.
My purpose is for students to understand each other or one another. See.
So mostly parents are responsible for your education, at least at this stage. As soon as you
can
get
I talk?
Yeah, please do.
For example, I got a credit card only because of going to Taiwan, because I wanted to have 2 cards and my bank didn't offer me another debit card, so I need to make a credit card. I'm not using it, but if, for example, I lost my normal card, I need to use the credit card. So that's the reason I chose that I have credit card, but I never use it. So, but if I would, my parents would pay for it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So in other
But
words,
I don't like
they're
it at
making
all.
sure that you're safe. So, for example, if in the recent typhoons you'd ended up in hospital and you know you ran out of money, then you can pay the hospital fee with a credit card. I have a credit card. I have not. It has obviously got a credit limit of several $1,000s, but I use it fairly constantly because it's very useful. And I don't know how it works in Taiwan, but we have 50 days credit. So as long as I pay, so if I spend, I don't know, say $1,000 in a month, as long as I pay that $1,000 off at the end of the month, I don't get charged interest. So it's interest free as long as I pay it off regularly. Okay? And I think it's probably the same in Taiwan. Can anybody answer that question? So do you have a certain time before you have to pay it off? No?
Well, I think they can. Sometimes you can pay in different installments, right? You don't have to pay it
No, but
all
if you
at one
pay in
time.
installments, you have to pay interest.
Interest? Sometimes
Hmm.
they can offer you 0 interest. 有没有？
Have to get you to spend it.
不知道。Yeah. Sometimes they offer you
Okay.
0 interest rate just to attract you to consume.
Yeah. Exactly, and then once they've got you hooked, you go bankrupt later. All right, so inappropriate credit limits, that's the banks, and breaching responsible lending. Responsible lending is the bank only lends you what you can afford to pay. So responsible lending means the banks are behaving appropriately, but some banks they do grant inappropriate credit limits. They shouldn't be giving it to people unless they can pay it. But that has changed. So a University of Canberra lecturer and a former financial counsellor, this Mr. Moley or something, has interviewed 26 bankrupts as part of his PhD research into personal bankruptcy. So this fellow, he's doing what in the West is a PhD research. This is called a doctorate, and I know they do exist in Taiwan because I think a doctorate is the highest level of research degree you can get in the West. I think probably also in Taiwan. Anyway, he's doing research into personal bankruptcy, which is an odd topic, but anyway, he's doing it. So he's interviewed 26 people who are bankrupt as part of this research. Most finger the plastic. I'm going to ask somebody what that means in a minute. Finger the plastic for their financial woes. A financial woes means bad things. So financial woes are they're having trouble with their finances, so they're calling it financial woes. So they're fingering the plastic to help them pay off debt. They say credit cards are very dangerous. We don't like credit cards. We'd actually prefer to go to a payday lender because at least that's over a fixed term. For example, it's going to be paid off over 6 months. A payday lender is somebody that lends you money based on the amount of money you get paid amount of money you get paid per fortnight or per month. Fixed term is a fixed term of, the loan might be over 6 months, for example. That's a fixed term. So it's like borrowing money, and not on a credit card. You can keep not paying it, but if it's fixed term, you must pay it. Okay, sorry about that. Occasionally it drops out. All right, so who would be next? Vaclav, what do you think finger the plastic means?
I think it means just using the credit card for everything, even though you don't have money for it. You
That's correct.
don't have the money to pay it.
Right, so it's just a slang expression. Finger the plastic means you pick up your plastic credit card and use it. What does they, or who does they refer to?
Wait a second, please. I think they refer to the bankrupts which are part of the research.
Correct. So it's referring, this expression is referring to the people that this guy is interviewing. So we, this is a change. It should they say we don't, it's really not, but We is also referring to them. And what's a fixed term? Or what's the opposite of a fixed term?
I don't know the exact word, but I think it could be something like moving term or...
Actually, I don't think there is another name. A fixed term means you have a specific time to pay it off.
Yeah,
what
of
is
course.
it? I'm just trying to remember the name. Let me see. Are credit cards fixed term or not?
Well, credit cards, they only have a fixed term to pay the money, to have zero interest, but they don't have, I think they don't have a fixed term at all. If you want to pay the interest.
It actually doesn't give an opposite of fixed term, but if the term is not fixed, then it's variable, I suppose. Actually,
okay.
that is the correct. So a variable term loan means that you pay it off. You can pay it off quickly or short, whichever's convenient. And typically, credit cards are a variable term if you wish. But if you don't pay it off, you have to pay interest. Thank you, Vaclav. Mr. Moll's research is backed up by the experience of the Victoria's Community Action Law Centre. So this is somebody from that centre talking. Around half the people that contact us actually have credit card debt over $10,000. That's Australian dollars. So it's a lot higher than Taiwan dollars, says the centre's chief executive, this Jared Brody. Many have thousands more than that in credit card debt. And in fact, we've worked out that at least one person a week contacts our centre has credit card debt of more than $100,000. Sandy.
Hello?
How would you like a debt of $100,000 on a credit card?
It's terrible.
Which would you rather have? A $100,000 debt on a fixed term or a $100,000 debt on a credit card? Which do you think would be best? Assuming you had to have a debt.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
All right, I'm going to tell you you've got a debt of 100,000 on a credit card. All right. Now, would you keep it on a credit card, or would you transfer it to a fixed term? Which do you think is best to have if you must have a debt of 100,000?
Fixed term.
Yes, and why?
Because I will pay more for a credit card.
Yes, so the interest rates on credit cards are very high. I'm assuming Australia is the same as Taiwan. On a fixed term loan, the interest is about 5% at this time in Australia. On a credit card, interest rates are about 18%. So an interest rate of 18% is way higher than a fixed term. So if you must have a loan, then a fixed term is better. What is a mortgage, Sandy? We did that word last week, actually. What sort of loan is a mortgage? What for?
Sorry, I don't know.
All right. If you're buying an apartment in Taiwan, you can go to the bank and get a mortgage. It's called a housing loan, okay? Do you know how much interest you would expect to pay on a mortgage in Taiwan? I know you probably haven't got one yet, but Pearl should be able to tell you.
Nicholas, when we bought house, when I paid it all in cash. I didn't borrow anything from the bank. Yes.
I can't afford to do that, Pearl. I've still got my mortgage for a year. I've had my mortgage for about 20 years, and it will be paid off next year. So in 2017, we actually finished paying it. And we worked out, we've paid the bank over 20 years, we've paid the bank about $120,000 interest, which is absolutely ridiculous. However, that's the way mortgages work. So, and our mortgage is it's variable rate, and when I started, it was about, I think it was 9% when we started about 20 years ago in the 90s, and it's now about 4.3%. So in actual fact, the interest rate has fallen by 2/3 because of the global financial crisis. So it's been very good. So we just kept paying, and as I said, we will own our house hopefully next year. But I'll be glad to finish it because a mortgage takes out a lot of your annual income. So it's interesting. Right, Sandy, how old will you be when you buy your first house or your first apartment?
Um, 30 years old.
Okay. And where are you going to buy it?
Uh,
So where do you think you'll buy it? Will it be in Taipei or Kaohsiung or somewhere else?
in Thailand, my country.
Tainan, okay. And will you be single or married at 30? Or hope to be?
She said she wanted to buy a house near her parents.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I guess,
All right, thank you, Sandy. Yep.
Nicholas,
Go
I
on,
think many
Pearl.
Chinese will think the best option is a house that near your parents, because they will take care of the house and your kids in the future.
I mean, yes, our parents feel differently here, or our children feel differently. Anyway, Mr. Mole, remember this, Mr. Mole is the researcher. Many people were stuck on a credit card merry-go-round. They would use sometimes a credit off one card to pay the minimum monthly repayment on the other card. They actually made that work for a long time, in some cases 3 or 4, but eventually it just takes one little thing for the house of cards, excuse the pun, to completely fall down. Now, just so we know what a merry-go-round is, I presume you have these in Taiwan at the fair. This is a merry-go-round. Don't ask me why it's called a merry-go-round. It goes round and it's merry means happy. So I presume on the merry-go-round you're happy. Jason, have you been on a merry-go-round? Jason. Have you ever been on a merry-go-round?
Huh? Oh, yes.
Right. Have you ever been on a credit card merry-go-round? Tell me what that means.
Nicholas, how old would people stop going on a merry-go-round?
Usually when they're probably 11 or 12, Pearl.
I think here we stop earlier.
Yes. Well, we're not as mature in the West. So what do you think a credit card merry-go-round is, Jason? All right, is it negative or positive, do you think? Which one?
It's bad.
It's bad, exactly. So why is it bad?
Because
Because
you use a card to pay another card.
exactly. So you've got one card. Perhaps you owe perhaps you've got credit of $1,000 on it. And you have another card with a $2,000 debt. So you use that money to pay this one.
Yes.
But eventually you end up with more money you end up owing more because you owe interest. So it is, now, do you know what a pun is? Do you know the word pun? P-U-N?
No.
All right. Does anybody know pun?
Yeah, it's when you play with words, I think.
Yes, it's a play on words. I won't use one in English because they can be confusing, but I'm just going to put up a picture of a house of cards so you know what I'm talking about. Right. Jason, that is called a house of cards. Describe it for me. What's a house of cards?
You use the card to build
That's right. To build a house, well, you use cards to build
a tower.
a tower. I'd call that a tower. Better this rather than. Now, is this stable? In other words, is it very strong or weak?
No.
No, exactly. So it said it just takes one little thing for that house of cards to completely fall down. What do you think that means in relation to credit cards? You've already sort of told me, but why would this house of cards, referring to the credit card merry-go-round, why would that house of cards completely fall down?
I don't know.
All right. Michael, can you explain it?
I think it means that if one part of the house fall down, then the whole house completely fall down.
Yeah, but how
Is
does
it
it
the
relate
question?
back to credit cards? What's the house of cards referring to? Or if you like, how does the house of cards refer to the credit card merry-go-round? It's being, in English we say it's being used figuratively. That means it's being used to give an example. Literally means exactly. Well, it's not being used literally because obviously we're not talking about a house of cards, but we're using it figuratively, this word here, and it's being used to describe the credit card merry-go-round. Is the credit card merry-go-round a good thing to be on, Michael?
No, definitely not.
All right. And what will eventually happen? What is likely eventually to happen?
You're going to bankrupt because it's quite dangerous
Exactly.
to. It's dangerous to
And
be
so you're
all
in a
the time
house of
on.
cards.
Huh? Once again, please.
So if you like, you could say a house of credit cards. You've got a
If
load
I
of
like it.
credit cards and you're using, just let me see if I can find that image. Yeah. You're using, if you, instead of playing cards, if you consider these as credit cards, you owe lots of money on these cards. You're in debt. And you're hoping that these credit cards will support the debt of the other credit cards, but eventually you're in too much debt and everything falls down. So what it's doing, when it's referring to a house of cards, it's saying that this is the thing about the pun, is actually calling is making a play on words between playing cards and credit cards, and it's saying that this house of credit cards is very, very weak, and eventually it will fall down and you'll go bankrupt. That's
I
my
see.
understanding anyway.
Thanks for
Okay?
explaining.
You're very welcome. Are there any questions on this, Pearl, or anybody?
Nicholas, I think 10 years ago, there's a serious credit card debt problem in this country because the banks are encouraging young people to apply for credit cards and to boost the economy. And so many people are tempted to apply many credit cards, and they were called, if they cannot pay, they were called slave of cards. And now still that term is still very popular here. But nowadays, the slave of cards problem are not that so obvious. And I asked students, they said one reason is because because the economy is not that good, and they're not to spend that much. And also, I think they also the later on the government get involved and make the bank to do some corrections, like lower down the interest rate. So it was a serious problem 10 years ago. But nowadays, I think young people are not that much into using credit cards. Perhaps they get smarter.
Not in Australia. They're all still stupid here. In Australia, the bank's interest rate on credit cards is around 18%, 15 to 18%. And as people point out, they're getting, on a loan. I've got a little bit of money on. I get 3% per year on a long-term loan to the bank. Now, why, if they're giving me 3%, why are they charging that much for credit cards? It's ridiculous. And it hasn't yet changed, but I think there's currently in Australia a banking inquiry going on, and I think credit cards are going to be, they're going to stop the banks charging so much. Well, as you said, Krat, they'll tell banks that if they grant inappropriate credit limits and somebody goes bankrupt, the banks lose their money. They can't, they're in breach of their responsible lending policy. And some banks in Australia are very unscrupulous. Just putting this word there. Unscrupulous means they don't care how they make their money. If they bankrupt somebody, then that's a problem. So, and it is a big problem, especially for young people. But even for another problem is in Australia, some parents use their house as collateral. So they use their house as collateral to guarantee their children's loans. And that's a big problem, because if the children go bankrupt, that means the parents lose their house. And this has happened several times this year, and a lot of the government is saying the banks this is unethical. The banks should not be doing this. So they should not be allowing parents to put their house as collateral. That means they're guaranteeing their children's loans against their house. If their children go bankrupt, the parents go bankrupt, their house is lost. So it's very difficult.
That kind of thing would never happen in the Western world. I mean, these children are grown up, right? And
yes.
Of course, their parents know the consequence if their children go bankrupt. Oh, and I thought that would only happen in the Eastern world.
No, it's here too. Okay.
So will you do that for your children, your daughter?
I already have. No, actually, we bought a house for her. And you know, as I said, the house we sort of haven't. We bought a house, but it's half in my name. So if she defaults, then it's still my house. So it worked quite well. But it's interesting. But if I die, the house goes to her. So I think she's sort of hoping I'll die soon so she can get a free house. She's a very practical young lady. Shall we have a break, Pearl?
Yes.
Okay. See you in a few minutes. Tiffany,
Hello?
are you in? Can you read this word here, unscrupulous?
You mean the first line?
No. Can you see this word here? Wait a minute. It won't work. Can you read unscrupulous?
Yeah, unscrupulous.
What does that mean? Are you unscrupulous?
No, I don't think so.
Explain it for me.
Well, I think I'm a kind person.
All right. Give me an example of unscrupulous behavior. A woman might do. Actually, no, that's not fair. Anybody might do.
I think some businessmen in Wall Street,
Yep. Be more specific. What do you mean?
they don't care others' feeling
That's right.
or their, yeah.
They don't care about others' feelings. No, they just want to make money. They don't care about how they do it.
I think that's
What
also
course are
the
you
reason.
doing? Sorry, go on.
I think that's also the reason why the financial crisis during 2007. I think that's the reason why.
Do you know what started the financial crisis?
CDO and CDS.
Yeah, do you know what that means though?
It means that bank give loan to those who cannot afford so much money, and give loans
That's more or less
to
right.
them, yeah, to them to buy the house mortgage.
That's right.
And
So
then,
in the USA, they gave low income people housing loans, and they couldn't afford them. And I think about 100,000. No, it was more than that. About over 10 million families lost their homes.
yes.
And so anyway, it was all very complicated. I'm surprised you know about it because you'd have only been what, about, how old are you now? 21?
22.
Oh, all right. So you'd been at
Yeah.
14 when that happened.
Yes.
How do you know about it? Are you doing an economics course?
Yeah, I'm majoring in finance management.
Oh, all right. We'll get you to talk about finance one day then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are
And
we ready to start?
no,
Yeah,
I
sorry,
mean,
go on, Pearl.
I just want to add that Tiffany is going to Singapore on an exchange program
Ah, when's she
at the
leaving?
end of the semester.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's a very clever young lady. Okay, now, Pearl, can you let me find my... Can you please give those questions out?
Nicholas.
Yep. Okay. Just quickly, so the high stakes means that if you're gambling, high stakes means you can lose a lot of money if you're not careful, if you gamble too much. Drought is lack of water. You need to look at the meaning of premium if you're answering question 3. Devastated means ruined. Restocking is talking about buying more cattle. So restocking means they're buying more cattle. So why can't graziers are farmers, the same thing? Why are they restocking? Why are they buying cattle at this particular point in time? All right, so I'll just start this movie or video. Can you start that when you're ready, please, Greg, please, or whoever's doing it?
OK， 要开始了。要播影片。
Oh, okay. Right. What recently happened to cattle prices in Queensland?
I think the prices of the cattle has risen recently because of the drought in Queensland.
They've actually gone up, and they've recently ended that record-breaking rise, which was interesting because the first time I looked at this video article, I was surprised as well. But so they've come up and they've ended a record-breaking rise that occurred after the drought. Okay. And what does the presenter mean by high-stakes gamble for graziers wanting to restock their herd after years of drought?
I think that the farmers are betting that the demand for the meat will be the same as now, and also that the prices will be the same. So if the prices go lower, they don't get their money back. So I think this is what it means, the high stakes gamble.
That's right. They're betting on the fact the drought is broken over. And as you say, by restocking, they'll make money, not lose it. It is a bit of a gamble because Australia and drought, we've been in drought for nearly 20 years. And just recently, we've had a huge amount of rain. So what does the presenter mean by premium plus prices for premium steaks are on this year's summer barbecue? I've made a mistake here. Yeah, sorry,
Okay,
go on.
hello. Premium means a good quality, so
Yeah.
I think the prices will be higher than the others. So for good quality means good prices, high prices for this summer.
That's right. I've made a mistake in the word. It should be steak.
Steaks, yeah.
Yeah, so that because they're steak and steak, so
I got
prices
it
will be
right.
high
It's
for
not
good quality steaks this summer.
Okay.
So yes, you're correct. And premium means high prices. A
High
premium plus
prices.
means even higher.
Yes.
Do you eat
Exactly.
steak?
Yes.
What sort of steak do you like?
Beef or
Hmm.
any kind of steak I love. It doesn't matter. All the
Or
meats.
you should come to Australia. We have lots and lots of different steaks
Yes,
here.
I know, and this is the reason why I love the Australia a lot.
All right. How are farmers feeling at the cattle sales in Dolby? There was a particular word I was looking for, but how are they feeling?
In here,
Yep.
yeah, it's so different still compared to our country, but it's good, not so bad.
Okay. So how are the farmers feeling at the cattle sales in Dolby?
uh, in Dolby, could you
Yep.
please repeat again?
Yeah, this is question 4.
How? I'm
Are you
sorry.
answering that, or
Okay.
is it somebody?
Okay,
That's all right.
sorry.
Dolby's in Australia, not in your country. So how are the farmers feeling?
Happy? Maybe.
Yes. Buoyant mood. What does buoyant mean? You're correct. It means happy. Do you know where this is again figurative use of a word. They're using a word to describe how somebody is feeling. But the word buoyant, the literal meaning of buoyant, do you know the literal meaning of buoyant? What it actually refers to?
No.
All right. If you have do you know what I mean by a beach ball? You know those balls you blow up with air? Yes, no? All right, let's make it easier. You know what a balloon is?
Yes.
Good. If you put a balloon in water, a blown up balloon, what happens?
Oh, sorry.
So if you put a balloon into water,
Mm.
all right, yeah, so if I have a balloon and I have a bath full of water, and yeah, I put the balloon in there, what will happen? What will the balloon do?
Float?
Yeah, exactly. It will float. And that means the balloon is buoyant. Buoyant means something floats. So when we are applying, so that is the literal meaning of buoyant. So if something is buoyant, it floats on water or in the air or whatever. So what do you think a buoyant mood means? And this is a figurative use of the word. So what do you think a floating mood or buoyant mood, how are they feeling? You've already told me. Use another word. And don't say happy. Stronger than happy.
Amazing. Wonderful.
Yeah, real good. Have you ever been drunk?
No. No.
No, well, if you get just a little bit drunk, you're in a buoyant mood. You feel, yay, that's buoyant. All right? Don't go out and get drunk. Just be happy. Now, one speaker said, if these prices can maintain these levels, that means stay at high level, we'll sort of get back on our feet. What does get back on our feet mean?
Get back on our feet. I think is back to the
Yes?
back
Do you want
to
me to
the
try and help you? All right. If you're not on your feet, what are you doing? So if you're not standing up, if you're not on your feet, what are you doing?
fly.
No, no, there's the floor there. You're lying down. Okay? So now, again, it's literal and figurative. So if you're not on your feet, you're lying down. If you're lying down, if you say, oh, he's been knocked off his feet, say that you were in the typhoon and the so you're in the typhoon. Who's speaking?
I'm Lucy.
All right, Lucy. Right, Lucy, say you're in this typhoon and a very strong wind and it blows you over. How are you feeling?
I feel very bad.
Very bad, that's right. So if you're knocked off your feet, we also say sometimes uh, she has had the wind knocked out of her. So if you get the wind knocked out of you, it's the same as being knocked off your feet. You're not very happy. So if you get back on your feet, that means you're feeling happy, you're feeling in a buoyant mood, you're feeling generally good. So what this means is if prices remain high, farmers will be able to get out of debt, feel good, get out of debt, and start making a profit again. Now, I've just used the wind knocked out of you. If you were knocked off your feet by a guy, so I've just tapped there. If you're knocked off your feet by a guy, how are you feeling about the guy?
I think he's a very mean person.
No, that means the opposite actually. It means you really like him. So if you're not tough, if you go, wow. So, and that's the trouble. English, like Mandarin, it depends. We have a lot of what we call colloquial or slang English. And it really depends on the context of how you use it. So it depends on the situation. And I have a Japanese girl working for me at the moment. She's married to an Australian. She's about 30, and she's an English teacher. And one of the greatest problems for her is she speaks English very, very well, but she struggles with slang in Australian because we use so many words that are not. It's like a different language almost. You know, slang. It's words in everyday conversation. Hello, how are you? You know, good afternoon, great arvo. You know, they shorten words, and slang can cause a lot of problems in another language. And this girl, she's very high level English, but she's now having to learn slang, or what we call colloquial English. Now, somebody said to me the other day, or on the radio, it said, good arvo, everybody. What do you think arvo means?
Can you repeat again?
It's written down there. Yeah. So, all right. It's after 12 o'clock in the day, and this guy on the radio, just starting his show, he actually said, "Good arvo, everybody." What does arvo mean?
I think it means afternoon.
That's right. Good afternoon. And if you say good afternoon, everybody, that's very proper. It's very proper English. But so they don't say that. Good arvo, g'day mate, how are ya? So that's another one. Like I'm sure you have exactly the same in your g'day mate. That's in Australian, and they call everybody mate. G'day means good day, hello, and that's reasonably obvious. But you know, if I greeted you, Lucy, g'day, Lucy, how's it going? What does that mean? How's it going?
Means how are you?
That's right. How's it going? If I say, how are you going to some students, some English language students, they'll look at you and say, I'm going by bus. So you have to know you use them all the time, but unless you have, well, in this case English, unless you have somebody to speak to, it's very hard to learn that sort of thing. So it's difficult. That's why you may be a very good English speaker and you may be good at reading and writing, but sometimes learning to speak to other people or understand other people can be quite difficult. Do you speak any other languages, Lucy? Just Mandarin and English, or have you got another language that you're not telling us about?
Yeah. I can speak.
Can you speak what?
I can speak Taiwanese.
Taiwanese. So that's not Mandarin. That's what we say indigenous language. So that means people in Taiwan speak it, and people in China probably wouldn't. Say something in Taiwanese for me. Say hello in Taiwanese.
你好
Ni hao. That's the only Mandarin I know. I don't know anything else, so I'll leave it there. Thank you, Lucy. Right. What event devastated, that means ruined, cattle producers in the Northern Territory? That's not an easy question.
They want to export some cattle to another country, but
That's
they
right.
cannot.
It was banned. They used to export live cattle. So they used to send live cattle, still alive, to Indonesia. They banned it. Ban means stopped it. Now, two questions. You won't know the answers, but why do you think they save live cattle? They send live cattle to Indonesia. Do you have any idea why? Why not kill them first?
Fresh?
Sort of. It's to do with the Muslim religion. They say that cattle must be slaughtered, that's killed, while facing Mecca, which is in Saudi Arabia. So they have to be slaughtered in a particular direction, and also they must have their throats cut. In Australia, we kill cattle, we slaughter them by electrocuting them. In Indonesia, they kill cattle by cutting their throats. So Australian slaughter places will not cut throats. So they send them to Indonesia and they kill them themselves in Indonesia. And the other reason that the ban was because, have you heard of Greenpeace?
Yes.
All right. Well, Greenpeace activists, that means people who are very, they're like terrorists in a way. Anyway, Greenpeace activists got a movie of cattle being killed in Indonesia in an inhumane manner. What does that mean, inhumane? Good, bad,
Cruel
terrible?
way.
Yeah, cruel, that's the good word. In a cruel way. So the Australian government banned live exports because of the cruel way. I think they're okay. I think they've started exporting live cattle again, because since then the Indonesian government has agreed to kill it in a nice way. Okay. So why are cattle prices high at the moment? So who's answering that question? Why are cattle prices high?
because of the drought.
The drought makes cattle prices go down.
Oh,
So you're sort of on the right track. So what's happened? We've had years of drought. They're now over. So cattle farmers are buying more, but they're competing for available stock. What does that mean, competing for available stock? Do you know what stock is?
I think it's the available, what is available.
Yeah. Stock refers to cattle. Why are they competing for available cattle? Why are they in competition with each other? If you have 100 cattle available for sale, and they're, say, $100 each, but farmers want to buy 200 cattle, what will happen to the price? So they're $100 each, and there's 100, but farmers want to buy 200. So what will happen to the price of this 100? Yep, exactly. It'll increase because everybody wants to buy them, so the people selling will say, well, I'm going to increase the price at auction. So this is what is pushing up the price. All the farmers want to restock, so they're competing for the stock available, and this has pushed cattle prices up. Okay. How long has the family of the farmer in the red shirt, I don't know his name, sorry, I couldn't hear it. How long has he been on his farm, and what is he describing as being his first time?
Hello. Hey, I'm Claire, and I don't exactly understand what he say in the video, so I just take the part information. And
Go on, then.
I heard that he worked here for 22 years, and
Correct. All right. Nearly there. I got half of it. So he's been 22 years, and read the rest and tell me what it means.
You mean what the following sentence really mean?
Well, he said it's looked like this to this time of the year. Lots. So what is it? It's looked like this at this time of the year. It's the first time it's looked like this. How is it looking different? You can get the answer from them here. So how is his farm different, and why?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
From now, okay. Well, I guess because the past year, all, all, all the days are dry, but for now they are raining and the girls are grazing. Grass are grazing.
That's right. He's been there 22 years. They've been in drought for 22 years. They've had very little rain. There's been a little bit, but for 20 odd years, his farm has been in drought. We've just had floods in Queensland. For the last 2 years, we've had really heavy rain. For the first time, the grass is green with lots of grass due to the rain. So this is the first time in 22 years they've actually had green grass. Having green grass in Queensland is most unusual. We do not get typhoons to keep our grass green. So this is unusual for him. All right. Now the Veneto family, this is this guy actually, intend to sell their offspring, sell the offspring of the cattle. That means the baby cattle. Why is selling the baby
Hello, I'm
cattle a
Kenny.
gamble? Yes, Kenny.
Because I think they don't know, they can they don't know the prices in the future. They are gambling because the price they don't know. The price will make profit in the future.
That's right. So they don't know what the prices will be. We'd say to reap a profit. Reap means to cut. Actually, you cut crops down. It's called reaping crops. But we also we talk about reaping a profit, gaining a profit. And yes, you're correct. And also, they won't be able to sell these cattle for 2 years, because it will take 2 years for them to reach maturity, have baby cattle, and then they want to sell these other cattle on. So yeah, why can't some farmers consider restocking? So what's the reason that some people cannot restock?
Hello, this is Jay, and
Yes,
I
Jay.
think because the rain problem, so some farmers don't have enough money to consider restocking.
That's right. So some haven't had rain, and they don't have any grass. So we talk about being mired in debt. Mire is an old English word meaning mud, lots of mud, also called a bog. So if you have a field, and Jay, if you have a field and it rains really heavily, what happens? If you have a field, it rains very, very heavily, what happens to the field?
Flood?
Yeah, well, before flood, what happens to the ground?
The ground will be wet.
That's right, it's wet, and if you stand on it, you sink.
Oh yeah.
That's a mire. And so it's also, you sink into the bog or the mire. So we also, again, it's figurative versus literal. The literal meaning of mired means stuck in mud. But if you're mired in debt, it means you're stuck in debt. So this is a figurative use of the word mired. Anyway, you're stuck in debt. You can't afford to restock, as you say. Finally, how much does it cost to buy 4 steaks at a butcher? And what are customers doing to avoid these high prices?
Hello, I'm Tim. It costs 50 to 60 to buy 4 steaks at the butcher.
And so what are customers doing to not pay?
Buying
cheaper beef or buying white meat like chicken.
Correct. That's right. I was going to ask you what white meat. So chicken, turkey, and poultry. Do you know what poultry is?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Tell me.
Like chicken, duck.
That's right. So birds in general, chicken, duck, turkeys, whatever, if you can catch them, some birds. Okay. Any questions about this? All right. Well, that took longer than I thought, so we probably won't get round to this. Do you want to have a 10-minute break, Pearl, and then I'll talk about the assessment?
Okay, Nicholas.
Yep.
Is farming a good profession in your country? I mean,
not really.
Okay. Do young people want to be farmers?
If they're born onto a farm, yes.
Okay. Because
we do
many
have a few people that are interested, but not many.
So it's not well. Nowadays, many young people go back to village and become farmers. They are called stylish farmer. I mean, so
yeah,
because they are
hobby
tired.
farmers.
Oh, okay. Because they are tired of high-tech jobs, and they want to raise organic They want to
Yes.
to grow organic plants and poultry. So maybe so now they can say they are farmers. In the past, only people who cannot find jobs in the industry society go back to farms. But now to become a farmer, you have to have intelligence to use high tech.
Do you think any of the students in this class have the required intelligence to be a farmer?
Yeah, I think they because
Who do you think,
it is
who do you think would make the best farmer among the students here today?
They will have to have interest, ambition first. I mean, yeah. You'd be
Sarah, do you want to
surprised.
be a farmer?
Anyone want to be a farmer? Yeah.
No.
Not really. All right. Choose one of the boys who you think would make a good farmer.
See, most of the boys in our class are freshmen. I don't think they want to get their hands dirty. I know, you see, I like mountain climbing, but many young ladies here in Taiwan, they don't like mountain climbing because the sanitary condition on the mountain is not good, and they cannot shower.
We call them wussy in English. Not strong. Not
Okay.
All right. A few minutes break. I'll see you shortly. Okay, shall we proceed? This is how you're going to be assessed this semester. Susha.
Yeah.
Do you pronounce the K in your name? Is it Kasusha or just Susha?
Yeah, I do pronounce the first letter. But
So
it's
how do
okay.
you say it?
Ksusha.
Kasusha. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Russia.
Wait, so you were here last semester?
Yeah, I was here.
Okay, I thought it was you. I wasn't sure. That means you're excellent, doesn't it?
No.
All right. Thank you, Kasusha. Right, let's go on with this. This is the assessment for the semester. Now, some students last semester sent me feedback saying they wanted it to be more interactive, if that's the right word. So I reduced the marks for the midterm and final examination to 20%. I'll tell you more about the midterm and final examinations a little later as we approach them, but there's usually 60 multiple choice questions. MCQ is multiple choice questions, so you get a statement and then 1, 2, 3, 4 choices, and one of the choices is correct. And they're to be done in 2 hours or 120 minutes, which is suitable for most students. And I have to keep traditional exams because of the way the course is structured. Anyway, there's 40% for direct knowledge. All the materials will be from the class. So anything we do in class will be used for these exams, nothing else, only class materials. And all class materials are up on the website. You get 20% for attendance and class participation. So if you're asked a question in class, you don't have to get it right, but you're expected to make an effort. So we're not marking you on your wonderful English, we're marking you on your, if you like, your enthusiasm. Daniel, what's enthusiasm?
Um, I think enthusiasm means you're willing to do something.
Yep. Is this a noun or an adjective? Daniel, is that a noun or an adjective?
Hello, Nicholas, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Waiting for something?
Yes, I'm waiting for Daniel to tell me whether this is a noun or an adjective.
It's a noun.
Good. What's the adjective from this word?
Enthusiastic.
Good. Now, have you got any hobbies?
Uh, like to like playing basketball.
All right. Why are you enthusiastic about playing basketball? What appeals to you about basketball? Why is it good?
I can exercise.
Yep. Are you very tall?
No.
Excuse
So not
me,
190 centimeters. Yes.
Nicholas. I'm Iyun.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
didn't ask me anything before, so I'm here to talk to you something.
Who is this?
I'm Iyun.
Oh, Yun. Are you listed here yet? No. All right, Yun.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
me
listed
about
here.
what you're
Lee Iyun.
enthusiastic
This is
about.
my surname. Oh,
It's
yeah. Just
hiding. I
now
can't
you
find.
asked for enthusiasm, is it? I think passion can better explain that word.
All right. What's the difference between passion and enthusiasm then? Since you raised the issue.
I think it's quite the same meaning.
Which is stronger?
Sorry?
Which is stronger, passion or enthusiasm?
Is it passion?
Yes. Now, I want you to give me an example of where you might use the word passion.
Passion in doing something, learning.
You can be passionate about learning. If you have, let's say, a partner, would you be enthusiastic about them or passionate?
Passionate.
What's the difference between the two uses there in relation to a person? If you're enthusiastic about a person or passionate, what's the difference? What's the different usage?
Is it a passion, use it for person, and then enthusiasm more for things?
Passionate's more for love. Enthusiasm, if you like, is more for friendship. You can have both, obviously. But yes, you can have a passion for a sport or passion for learning a language, and that means if you're enthusiastic about it, it's very nice. If you're passionate, it means you're really committed to doing it. So what are you passionate about?
In learning.
Learning what?
Learning to speak well in English.
You're not doing too badly. Have you been to an English-speaking country to learn English yet?
Not really, but I wish I can exchange to maybe England for next year.
Yeah, well,
transfer.
Well, at least if you go to England, you'll learn proper English and not that American rubbish.
I think I won't choose America because of there's gun, and then I think it's very dangerous.
Yeah, well, Australia is very safe. So is New Zealand.
Can consider so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have I not asked anybody else a question, Pearl? Claire, Daniel, Michael. Anybody else escaped today? I don't think so. Sandy, what have you been doing?
Hello?
What are you passionate about?
Computer.
And life in general, or just computers?
Computer programming.
Oh, good. We'll have to be passionate about something, I suppose. Jasmine, are you a passionate lady?
Sport.
Sport, what do you play, Jasmine?
Volleyball.
Volleyball, okay. Are you very tall, or just very good?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Tall or good or both?
Because I'm tall.
How tall are you? If that's not too rude.
我要怎么讲啊？167。啊，我要怎么讲啊？
She's 167 centimeters.
That's quite
That's
tall.
Yeah, that's tall.
That's average.
That's tall here. Among
Yes,
girls.
Among girls. There are exceptions, but that's reasonable height. But my child is only 162, I think. She's considered quite
taller than
short,
your daughter.
But yeah, she's considered quite short by Western standards.
Yeah.
We find that Asian people are generally shorter, but not always, especially
Nicholas,
if they're
you
born
have
in
to
Australia.
speak louder. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Nicholas,
Especially if they're born in Australia, Asian people are taller.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So, assignment. 15%. Some of you want to do, in particular, a resume in English, covering letter and a resume. Luba, what's a resume? Give me another word for it.
I didn't hear the question.
Yeah, what's a resume?
Oh, okay, it's the CV.
Yeah. Do you know what CV stands for?
Actually, no, but now curriculum, vision, or something. I don't remember exactly.
That's right. It's Latin,
Sorry.
and it's curriculum vitae. If you like, the study of life or my life.
Yes.
Vitae means of life. Curriculum means, how you do something. So CV, we don't normally say that. We just say CV. Do you know what covering letter is?
Yeah, it's like how is your interest or why do you want this school or job? And we are just
That's
writing
right.
cover letter for the applying some job. Why should
That's
they
right. So
choose me?
right. So why should we choose? What job do you want?
Uh, I just want to study in the sales department in the private sector, FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods.
Right. Convince me. Why should I employ you? I'm your manager, your potential manager.
Because I
What's
have a
good
lot of
about you?
experiences in this area. I have internship at the company. Maybe you cannot know in our country. And I have really good communication skills with the people. I can convince them a lot of subjects. I can sell a lot of products from my company in a good way.
Okay.
So you should.
Would you? Do you hope to be a manager one day?
Of course.
Would you like your own company?
Yes, but I need a lot of money. So firstly, I can work or lottery games. I should pay. Yeah.
Okay. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So this assignment, what I'm going to do, previously, all we've done is say choose a job and write a cover letter and resume, and I would give you an example. A lot of people don't do a particularly good job, or they don't care, or they don't know what to do. So construction means we'll do it together to a point. So you are going to do a covering letter and a resume, certainly a resume, probably a covering letter for it. So you have to choose a job you want to apply for. So you're going to pretend you're very good, and you apply for a job in the area that you think you'll work in the future. And I'll give you a couple of websites, or if you wish, you can do one in Chinese, or as long as you tell me what the job is. And then each fortnight or each week, or possibly fortnight, I will take a bit. So the covering letter, for example, can be divided into, say, 3 paragraphs, and the resume can be divided into about 4 or 5 sections. So each week we'll do 1, 2, 3 parts of the covering letter, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, say, of the resume. And then I'll go through an example, I'll put it up, and then you have to write an example. So each week or each fortnight, you have to use the example as a template for your work. Sarah, what's a template?
I have no idea.
All right. What's a skeleton? Have you got a skeleton? So what's a skeleton? Do you have one or not?
Yes.
Good. And what is the function of your skeleton? What's it for? What would happen to you if you did not have one?
Fall down.
That's right. You would collapse in a boneless lump. All right. Howard?
Hello.
Why have I used the example of a skeleton to try and define a template.
Gradually add something on it.
Yes, okay. Well, a template gives you a structure or a skeleton that you can use to construct your cover letter or your resume. So my intention is that every couple of weeks you will post your assignment to a blog site we'll create on the website, and you'll be partially marked on the effort and quality of the writing. So if it's 15% and there's, say, 10 parts, you get roughly 1.5% per part. And I'm going to mark, I won't say I'll mark them hard, but I will mark them fairly. So I have been fairly easy on this before, but if you make more effort, you'll get high marks. If you make no effort, you'll get 0. So, and we'll do that probably starting next week. There's a group assignment where you choose a member, you can choose your own partner, and you can choose any topic you want within in your interests, what you're passionate about. So if you're passionate like the young lady we had before, you can be passionate, you can be enthusiastic, you can talk about whatever you want using PowerPoint or using the so-called shared desktop, and it can be in groups of 2 or 3. Now, if you haven't chosen your groups by mid-term, then your TAs, Judy and Greg, will choose them for you. And finally, there's a student profile. Now, I am proposing means I have not yet definitely made up my mind, but I'm proposing that you submit a video to a vlog site. Kenny, what's a vlog?
Hi, I think blog is the blog for video.
That's right. So it's like a blog, but instead of writing, you do video. Now, I believe most of you now have smartphones, or certainly access to a smartphone, so you should be able to do videos. Now, if anybody can't, you need to let me know, excuse me, or let the TAs know, and we can assist you. But I want you to submit a video telling me about your interest, your passions, your aspirations, in English, of course. Now, if you want to be really good, scripts, Michael, what is a script for a film? What is a script?
I think it means something like scenery, like some
Yeah.
pattern how it should look like.
That's right. So it's what you're going to say. So soon I'll give you a script. It might be, what is your name? How old are you? What are your interests? What job do you want? What do you want to do? Something like that. So you can, I don't want more than 5 minutes at the most. So you can, if you wish, you can send me your script. I'll mark it, and you can then read to the script if you want. Some people want to be spontaneous, more spontaneous, which means you just do it. So if you're a fantastic English speaker, like, I don't know, Sarah or Tuba or Lee or Jay, then you just be spontaneous. Otherwise, if you want to talk to a script, you can. I will give higher marks for novel approaches. Jasmine, what's a novel? What does novel mean? What's a novel approach?
I think it's a book that, well...
Yeah, the noun of a novel is a book, but this is an adjective. So what if you have a novel way of doing something? What does that
It's
mean?
new. It's new.
Yeah, that's right. New or different. Something that I've not experienced before. So, in other words, it's something that is not usual or not common. So, it doesn't have to be entirely new, but it can certainly be not common. And I will not publish these without your permission. So, as I said, if you don't want to be embarrassed, then I will not publish these. Only myself and the TAs and Pearl will be able to see them, and your marks will never be made public. So as I said, if you want to make your student profile public, then so be it. If you don't want to, all you need to do is say no. So that is the proposed assessment, and we'll begin this in the next week or so. The group assignment will be after midterm. The student profile will be in the first half of the semester. So that I will give you details on this next week. If anybody doesn't want to do a video, you need to just tell us why. All right? So if you really don't want to do a video, then we'll see what we can do. But generally, I'm hoping that you've all got Facebook and you all love talking. So I'm hoping that we can make you do it a little bit better than it's been done in the past. Now we're almost out of time. Are there any questions on any of this, Pearl, from anybody?
Do you want to show them what was the student profile is like in the past?
I could. Just a minute. I've got one here actually. Just a second. I'll just. So again, excuse me. In the past, the student profile was this. So name, student. You didn't have to give your student number, but from Taiwan, what your major was, and a short introduction and a picture. So we've taken out this so you won't know who it is. Some of you may anyway. My interests are reading books, traveling around, and relaxing on my bed. In other words, he's lazy. I generally spend much of my time in a bookstore, a movie theater. I hope I can learn more about current events from the class. So that would have got him probably 3 to 4 out of 5. He's supplied a picture, he's given me reasonable English writing, and he's made a little bit of an effort, not a huge amount, but reasonable effort. So that was in the past. Now I want you to do more or less the same, except doing a video of yourself. It appears to be the way things are going. And as I said, I will not publish. Well, we will not publish unless you give us your permission, which I think is reasonable because some of you don't want information to be known about you, which is fine. Is that right, Pearl?
I think we can leave the rest to the class in the future as we go along.
I'm sure we can.
Okay.
Okay. Any more questions?
Any more questions from the class?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you.
Go on.
Because I come from Europe, I was thinking about going back home for Christmas. So my question is it possible to take the final exams earlier than in January?
Talk to Pearl.
Okay.
We have done this in the past, and we should be able to accommodate you, as long as you
Okay,
give
thank
plenty
you.
of notice.
Okay,
right?
Thank you.
Great. So that be all for today?
Yep.
Excuse
All
me,
right,
Nicholas.
have a nice week. Yes, go on.
Sorry.
Yes, okay.
Can I ask that is the homework we will do it next week in class?
I will.
So we don't have any work
give you
this week, is it?
No, you have no work to do this week.
Oh, okay.
I'll talk about
Thank
it
you.
in class next week, and then you'll do it then. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay. Bye-bye now.